This I Believe, Jon Landau, and more. Eye on LC starts now. Hi, I'm Mandie Ramirez. Thursday, September 30th, Lynchburg College was honored with having Jon Landau visit and talk to us about ethics in the film industry. Landau talked about his many accomplishments, such as his work with Titanic and Avatar, the highest-grossing movie of all time. After Landau explained how he got to his high point in his life, he opened the floor up to questions from the audience. After questions, Landau stuck around to have pictures taken, answer more questions, and allow people to hold his Oscar for Titanic.
He said that his love of nature and science fiction inspired him to do Avatar. What was your source of inspiration?
My source of inspiration was the idea that this movie can maybe make a difference in people's lives. I think it's important as we create entertainment to let people walk away from the theater with something being provocative in their minds when they go out and maybe look at how they do their life and maybe do it a little bit differently.
What is the most important lesson that you would like business people and students like myself that are looking to go into business that you can take away from the Avatar movie?
Well, I think that, what you can take away from the Avatar movie in some ways is that we now live in a global and connected world. Business you're going into, I think you have to realize that we are all connected now.
And do you think people are more likely to engage in unethical practices during a time of tough economical times?
The situation gets tough, whether it's from the economy or socially. People do things out of desperation rather than, out of really a thought process. So I think it's something that people have to be leery of. But I also think that by having good resources around them and good sounding boards and people you can talk to, that hopefully people will be able to work through those tough times and not make the wrong decisions.
A recital was held Monday night in the chapel with performances by Dr. Ramsey and Professor Scott on organ and piano. This year, LC encouraged students to read essays from the book This I Believe. This book tells how people value certain things and believe in a way that they feel better their lives. On Tuesday, September 28th, Professor Silke, Leonard Thomas, and Dean Eccles talked about what they are passionate about and the values that they cherish. While there, you were also welcome to share your very own This I Believe story. On Saturday, October 2nd, faculty and staff danced like they never before in Dancing with the Lynchburg Stars. The staff showed off many moves and did not hold back from letting it all go. President Guerin was one of the lucky contestants to dance in front of a cheering crowd as they watched his hidden talents. And now, let's head over to the LC Sports Center with Sports Director Justin Pryputin to get caught up on sports.
What's up, sports fans? Justin Pryputin here with your weekly update in the world of sports. Let's get things started with field hockey. The Lady Hornets beat Sweetbriar on Wednesday by the score of 13-1. Christina Morris, Haley Hartman, Lindsay Leonard, and Tara Reyna each had 2 goals. Jenny Weir and Ashley Nelson had 1 apiece, and Shelly Milks had a total of 3 goals on the day. The team then traveled to Virginia Wesleyan Saturday and beat the Marlins 5-0. Jenny Weir had 2 goals in the game, and Lindsay Leonard, Shelly Milks, and Amanda Wayne each had 1. Now onto the hardwood and the LC volleyball team. The ladies beat Washington and Lee Wednesday in a close 5-set match, 25-20, 20-25, 15-25, 25-15, and 15-13. This is the first time since 2000 that we beat Washington and Lee, but it's not all good news for the Lady Hornets as they lost to Roanoke College Saturday in 5 sets, 16-25, 18-25, 25-21, 25-22, and 15-13. The loss put their ODAC record to 3-1 for the season. The women's soccer team took the field Wednesday and beat Meredith College 2-0. Both goals were scored in the first half by Betsky Kaiwatsky and Kristen Milchori. They took the field again on Saturday and dominated Hollins University 10-0. 5 of those goals were scored by Kristen Milchori, setting a school record for LC. Shelley Hoth, Betsy Kaiwatsky, Sean Jackson, Tori Dott, and Grace Withers also had goals in the contest. On the men's side of the ball, they played a makeup game Monday night against Hampton Sydney. Donald Hart III scored at the 75th minute mark to force OT, and Mike Albanese won the game just 5 minutes into overtime. On Wednesday, not only did the Hornets lose to York College 3-0, but they also lost Cam Smith for the season with a broken leg. The Hornets took on Eastern Mennonite Saturday and won the game 2-0. Sean Bender and Matthew Rowe had a goal each. Other news and notes, the Major League Baseball playoffs start October 6th and continue through the month. And number 1 Alabama rolled number 7 Florida 31-6. That's it for me. I'm Justin Raputin. Back to you, Mandy.
Thanks, Justin. Let's see what this week's weather is going to look like with Chief Forecaster Will Stafford.
Now from the LC Storm Center, here is Chief Forecaster Will Stafford.
With the exception of Monday and Tuesday of this week, we should remain fairly dry. Regardless, we will remain drier than last week when the area was deluged with rainfall. Over 6 inches of rain fell in Lynchburg over the stretch of 2 days. This week, however, we'll be seeing the rain, but we think it'll just be some showers. At the time of taping, there's a front just off to our west. This is going to be triggering point for the showers on Monday and Tuesday before this high-pressure system comes in behind and gives us great weather for the remainder of the week. Atlantic is fairly quiet. A few waves that we're watching coming off of Africa. Nothing really organized to develop yet. We'll keep watching. We are in the back nine of the hurricane season. So the 7-day scattered showers on both Monday and Tuesday, then sunny skies for the rest of the week, pushing 80 by Saturday. Mandy.
Thanks, Will. And before we go, this week is homecoming. This week is homecoming week, so be sure to look out for what the day is and dress accordingly. Level Up is next. Until next time, I'm Mandy. See you next week, LC.
All right.
Hey there, brave viewers! It's time for more Level Up! Continuing our trend of reviewing games long after they've been released, we decided to give you our impression of the superhero sandbox slasher soiree Prototype.
And we were able to leverage our connections and score some one-on-one time with the star, Alex Mercer.
Yeah, that's right. Alex will be with us in the studio. He promised not to eat anyone, so we'll see how that goes.
But, don't worry, we're not going to sugarcoat the review just because he's a, homicidal maniac. We're beacons of subjectivity. No man, no matter how monstrous or terribly fashionable he may be, can dissuade us.
We're also beacons of manliness.
Damn right we are. Let's roll it, Sam.
It's not my name.
Yes, but it's what I call you. Not the face! Prototype is one of those games that was made to be enjoyed for one reason, and yet it is actually enjoyed for an entirely different reason. In this case, we're referring to the whole mysterious controversy zombie plotline the game half-heartedly promotes from time to time. Because while we're sure a lot of effort went into making the story special, you're more likely to enjoy the game due to the sheer absurdity that occurs whenever you free roam around town.
After all, a sandbox game is only as good as its mode of transportation. Following this logic, Prototype is a pulsating love sack of sheer orgasmic delight.
Good
Alex
metaphor.
Mercer leaps, sprints, jumps, and glides around the city of New York with nigh irrepressible gusto. Sure, you can hijack vehicles in the game, but why would the guy who can jump over an apartment complex want to tool around in the Geo? Sensing this conflict, the designers limited your choices to tanks or helicopters only, because if it can't blow shit up, it's not worth Alex's time.
The combat also receives honorable mention because of the variety in which there is to reduce fleshy matter to mush. Alex has the ability to morph his limbs into various sorts of killing ordnance, such as claws, a sword arm, razor whip, and Hulk hands. And really none of them feel redundant or useless. Well, all of them except the increased muscle mass one. That one's just kind of stupid. Tired of slicing and dicing? How about stealing a deceased soldier's assault rifle or rocket launcher and then just unloading on other soldiers like mad?
They'll never guess.
Throw in some screen-clearing devastator attacks, and you've got a beautifully varied weapon of death at your disposal.
Man, that is a sweet deal, isn't it? Just being able to tear someone apart with your bare hands, whatever you want. I mean, the temptation to misuse that power has got to be maddening. How do you keep from just killing everyone you see?
I only kill those who are responsible for what I've become.
So you're saying you've never scooped up a pedestrian into one of your street brawls?
Not that I can recall.
Well, I think you should know that we do have footage of you hurling someone, a civilian, from the top of the Chrysler building over 2 apartments. I don't think they lived.
So while most of our time playing Prototype was spent gaily romping
And ravaging.
around the city of New York, there is more to the game than just free running.
We're speaking, of course, about the side missions and the storyline. The plot can be summarized as thus. Shady Corporation's biological weapon got loose and is making zombies.
Oh, to news!
Because if it came out in the last 2 years, God knows it had zombies in it. Anyway, they decided to make up for a lack of interesting writing by, beginning the game at the conclusion, allowing you a few brief moments of rampant villainy before the obligatory amnesiac awakening scene and the start of the game proper.
A majority of the game's subplot and conspiracy is unlockable content anyways. In fact, that's one of the game's advertised selling points. The player must find persons of interest as indicated by an overhead icon and then consume them to absorb their memories.
But, you see, that's not enough, because even if you were to fill out the pretentiously titled Web of Intrigue, you'd discover that in a vain attempt to be thought-provoking, the writers decided to throw in contradictory elements, presumably to entice you to figure out the truth for yourself. Spoiler alert, you won't care.
Not a bit. Plus, the voice acting is so awful, you'll most likely want to skip the crap altogether.
Assuming that your eardrums recovered from Christian Bale's performance in The Dark Knight,
Oh!
and you're ready for more Gargles with Razor's gravel talk,
Oh!
you may decide to watch the cutscenes. Bear in mind that they are little more than shots of Alex's troubled expression interweaved with the occasional side character of general irrelevance. So let's have a look at this wardrobe, shall we? I mean, you've got a jacket on top of a hoodie, on top of a button-up, which I believe has a popped collar. Isn't that collar popped? Yeah.
It's cold in New York.
Well, okay, but most people would just put on a thicker jacket instead of 2 jackets, or man up to a coat. I think the real problem is you're just afraid of getting your face cold. Yeah, with the collar and the hood and everything. Ever considered a beard?
I'm not really one for facial hair.
Sure you're not. All the same, I can't help but think that a little scruff to keep those fragile cheeks nice and toasty would help you get outside of that old box, you know? Ever tried hats? A sombrero would look great on you.
Is the interview over yet?
Thankfully it is.
I've got some people I need to talk to. I'm gonna eat them. After playing through the game, it seemed to us that the story was actually made to be purposely forgettable so that the player would focus more of their time just running around killing people.
All in all, Prototype isn't a bad game. It's not really what we would define as a classic, but certainly an entertaining way to kill off an afternoon.
I mean, if you're in the mood for a few laughs, a broad open world that's pretty fun to explore, and some truly visceral combat, give Prototype a rent.
Yeah, rent it.
So, I guess Alex Mercer wasn't such a bad guy after all.
Yeah, I don't know about that, because the whole time we weren't on camera, he kept complaining about how hungry he was and how nice I'd look on a plate. Some parsley, maybe.
No, sounds like simple small talk to me.
Yeah, small talk, he tried to nibble on my leg, like, twice.
Oh, Sam, you can't form concrete opinions about people just because they try to nibble on one of your appendages.
Okay, my name's not Sam. We've been doing this for a year. You should really know about...
And that's all the time we have for today, folks. And Sam, tune in next week when we...
Are you gonna get my goddamn...
Level up! Help me, Alex! No, not the whole cans!